Welcome back to the channel Old Coins Value Today's exciting video, where we dive deep into the fascinating world of rare coins and uncover the incredible story behind the 1989 P1 dime from the United States. A coin that at face value is worth just 10 cents, but due to a series of extraordinary errors, mistakes, and unusual mint mark issues has been valued by collectors and enthusiasts an astounding $15 million. And in this script, we will journey together through the details, possibilities, history, and hidden aspects that make such a small piece of metal carry a value far greater than its original purpose. Because in the world of numismatics, rarity, condition, demand, and the mysteries of minting combine to create legendary treasures. And the 1989 P dime is one of those treasures that has captured the imagination of collectors around the world, with a story that deserves to be told in detail. So let us begin by looking at what makes an ordinary dime suddenly turn into a multi-million-dollar artifact, starting with the basics of its production at the Philadelphia Mint in 1989, a year when millions upon millions of dimes were struck as part of the Roosevelt Dime series, a design that had already been in circulation since 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt. But within this massive production, a small fraction of coins emerged with irregularities that went unnoticed at first, and among them was a particular 1989 P dime that became the talk of coin forums, auction houses, and numismatic studies because of its extreme rarity and bizarre characteristics. For when errors occur during minting, they can range from minor off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, to missing elements or misplaced mint marks. And while most errors are common enough to be valued in hundreds or thousands of dollars, a handful achieve mythical status when all factors align. And this is where the 1989 P dime shines, because it reportedly exhibits multiple anomalies that are almost impossible to reproduce in the same coin, including doubling of inscriptions, anomalies in the mint mark, unusual planchet composition issues, and striking mistakes that create a one-of-a-kind specimen. And when numismatists examine coins like these, they not only look for how the error was created, but also for how rare it is compared to the overall production. And since the Philadelphia Mint was not known to use a mint mark before 1980, but by 1989 the P was standard, a strange alteration of the mint mark can draw enormous attention, especially if the P is misplaced, doubled, faint, or even missing altogether. And collectors have reported versions of the 1989 dime where the mint mark appears slightly tilted, faintly punched, or exhibits doubling, which in itself is intriguing, but when combined with other errors like a broad strike, off-center elements, or die clash impressions, the coin crosses into legendary status and the famous specimen valued at $15 million reportedly combines multiple such features in pristine, uncirculated condition, making it both a rarity and a showpiece for serious investors. And this is why we need to understand not only the technical side of minting errors, but also the psychology of collectors and the economics of rare coin markets. Because the worth of such a coin is not simply a product of the metal it contains, but of the story it tells, the rarity it represents, and the passion it ignites among those who pursue numismatic history. And when people hear that a dime worth 10 cents could sell for 15 million, they might think it's exaggerated or impossible. But the truth is that in auctions around the world, similar phenomena have occurred, like the 1913 Liberty Head nickel or the 1794 flowing hair silver dollar, which fetched tens of millions, proving that demand and rarity together can elevate small coins into financial legends. And the 1989 P dime falls into that rarest category, where it is not just a circulating coin, but a mysterious mistake of history preserved in metal, and experts often discuss what might have happened at the mint to allow such an error to survive. Because usually the United States Mint is very strict with quality control, removing flawed pieces before they enter circulation, yet mistakes do slip through, and sometimes employees themselves may have unknowingly allowed unique pieces to pass into bags of dimes distributed to banks. And once in the wild, the coin could travel unnoticed for years until one sharp-eyed collector finds it, examines it closely, and realizes its uniqueness. And this is exactly what makes the story of the 1989 P dime so fascinating, as it may have passed through hands buying coffee, snacks, or paying for parking, before someone recognized its extraordinary characteristics. And from there, the story grew into the tale of a coin worth 15 million. And when we look deeper into the possible types of errors it contains, speculation ranges from double die obverse errors where the inscriptions like Liberty or I in God we trust show doubling, to a broad strike error where the coin appears slightly larger and flatter because it was not struck properly inside the collar, to even a transitional error where the metal composition does not match the year, which could mean a leftover planchet from another year or denomination was used. And any one of these would make the coin valuable, but when combined, they create a once-in-a-lifetime piece. And imagine the excitement of collectors bidding against each other in auctions where rarity is king, each wanting to own the mysterious 1989 P dime that represents both a flaw and a miracle. And over the years, stories of such coins have spread across YouTube channels, collector forums, newspapers, and even mainstream media, captivating audiences who marvel at the idea that something so ordinary could hide immense wealth. It makes us wonder how many rare coins might still be circulating unnoticed, lying in jars of change, tucked away in drawers, or hidden in collections passed down through families. And this is what keeps the world of coin hunting alive, the dream that the next coin you inspect could turn out to be a hidden treasure like the 1989 P dime, worth not just 10 cents, but millions. And beyond the financial value, there is also a historical charm, because each coin represents a piece of American history, minted in a specific year, during specific events, reflecting the artistry, technology, and challenges of its time. And for 1989, it was a year of political changes, cultural shifts, and technological advances. And in that environment, this dime was born, carrying with it the unintended mistakes of its creators. And over 3 decades later, those mistakes have become its strength, its uniqueness, and its value, making it an object of obsession. And when we reflect on why collectors would pay such an astronomical sum, it comes down to the principle of supply and demand. As there may only be one such coin in existence, or a tiny handful, and wealthy collectors, museums, or investors compete fiercely to own it, pushing its price into millions. And this is not just about a dime, but about owning a piece of American minting history, about possessing an artifact that symbolizes chance, error, and perfection and imperfection. And this is why the 1989 P dime continues to be discussed with awe, making it one of the most talked about coins in recent years. And as we conclude this deep exploration, remember that coin collecting is not just about money, but about curiosity, history, and passion. And the next time you hold a dime in your hand, especially 1989 P, take a closer look, because who knows, you might just be holding a piece of history worth far more than its tiny face value. A coin that defies expectations and proves that even the smallest object can carry the weight of great value, mystery, and fascination in the world of numismatics. We dive deep into the fascinating world of coins, and today's spotlight is on a coin that might look ordinary at first glance, but hides a story so extraordinary that it has become one of the most talked about and unbelievable discoveries in the history of modern coin collecting. The 2020 D1 dime from the United States Mint. A coin that normally carries a simple face value of 10 cents, but in a particular error-filled and highly unusual example, has been valued at an astonishing $18 million, a price that immediately shocks collectors and non-collectors alike, leaving everyone wondering how can such a small coin that most of us overlook in daily life be worth more than mansions, luxury cars, and entire fortunes. And the answer lies in the fascinating world of minting errors, mechanical mistakes, die anomalies, mint mark placement problems, striking issues, off-center designs, planchet faults, and a whole range of unexpected variations that sometimes escape the careful inspection of the United States Mint and enter circulation as unique specimens that over time become some of the rarest, most desirable, and most expensive coins on Earth. And the story of the 2020 D dime is not just about one error, but about the possibility of several overlapping and compounded minting errors that came together on a single coin, making it a true one-of-a-kind rarity. The kind of numismatic miracle that drives collectors wild and pushes values into millions. And to appreciate how such a coin could become so valuable, we first need to understand the minting process itself, which involved preparing blank planchets, striking them under immense pressure with engraved dies, applying mint marks to indicate the origin, such as the D for Denver Mint, and then carefully inspecting batches before release. But despite all this sophisticated machinery and human oversight, errors do happen. Sometimes dramatic ones, sometimes extremely subtle, and collectors categorize these into broad families, such as double dies, where the design appears shifted or duplicated, off-center strikes, where only part of the design is visible, wrong planchet errors, where the coin metal itself is not intended for that denomination, broad strikes, where the collar fails and the design spreads abnormally, and even mint mark misplacements, where the letter indicating the mint is punched or applied in an unusual location or with an unusual style. And when we look at the 2020 D Dime question, it is believed that a combination of these errors might be present, from a dramatic off-center strike that partially erased the usual design to an abnormal mint mark that appeared distorted and possibly doubled, combined with die cracks stretching across the coin like lightning bolts, and even planchet impurities that gave the surface an unusual tone. And the sheer rarity of having so many anomalies occur together on one coin makes it essentially unique. And uniqueness is the holy grail in coin collecting, because collectors are not just paying for the silver-colored 10-cent piece in their hand. They're paying for history, for rarity, for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to own something that no other collector in the world could possess. And in auctions, when such unique rarities come up for sale, they spark bidding wars among the world's wealthiest collectors, investors, and museums, driving prices into the stratosphere, which is exactly how a small 2020 D Dime could find itself valued at $18 million. And beyond the financial value, there is also the sheer curiosity and fascination, because coins tell stories of human error, of how even in the most mechanized and controlled processes, perfection is impossible. And sometimes imperfection becomes far more valuable than perfection itself. And while the United States Mint produces billions of dimes each year, the probability of finding one with multiple dramatic errors is astronomically low, which is why most collectors will never see such a piece in their lifetime. But the dream of finding one keeps the hunt alive, keeps people checking their pocket change, keeps the world of numismatics full of excitement, and brings ordinary people into the hobby, hoping to stumble upon a treasure that could change their lives forever. And when you compare the face value of 10 cents to the auction value of $18 million, the contrast is so staggering that it captures headlines and sparks debates about what truly gives something value. Is it the metal content? Is it the usefulness in trade? Or is it the story, the rarity, the desire of collectors to own what no one else can? And the answer is clearly in the latter, because the dime itself is still made of the same materials as billions of other dimes struck in 2020, but what separates it is the set of minting errors that slipped through unnoticed, errors that turned a common coin into an irreplaceable treasure. And there are many theories about exactly what happened during its minting. Some experts believe the dies were misaligned. Others suggest a double strike occurred where the coin was struck more than once, but not in perfect alignment, creating ghost images of the design, while others point to the mint mark D itself, which appeared in a highly unusual position, almost shifted or duplicated, something that should never happen in normal production. And still others notice cracks and cuds on the coin surface, suggesting the die itself was damaged. And when you add all these together, you get a coin so unusual that even professional graders and authenticators were stunned, giving it the highest rarity designations and ensuring it would be forever recorded in numismatic history as one of the most valuable error coins of modern times. And what is even more fascinating is that the discovery of this coin has reignited discussions among collectors about searching through pocket change, reminding us that treasures can still be out there waiting to be found, even in our everyday currency. And although most 2020 D dimes are only worth 10 cents, there's always the possibility that another unusual specimen could exist, hiding in circulation, overlooked by millions of hands, waiting for a sharp-eyed collector to notice something strange. And that dream alone keeps the hobby alive, making coin collecting not just about history, but about adventure, mystery, and discovery. And so, as we continue exploring this $18 million dime, it becomes clear that its value is not just in its errors, but in the magic of rarity itself, in the way it connects people to a larger story of human error, chance, and the pursuit of uniqueness. And in that sense, the 2020 D dime represents the very essence of numismatics. The idea that something small and ordinary can become extraordinary when the right circumstances align. And just like rare stamps, rare paintings, or rare artifacts, it is scarcity, combined with desirability that sets the price. And desirability here comes from the fact that the 2020 D dime is not only an error coin, but also a modern coin, reminding us that you don't need to look only into ancient or 19th century issues to find treasures. They can still appear in the coins being struck today, coins you might receive as change at a store, coins lying unnoticed in a jar. And that is why collectors all over the world have grown even more excited about checking their 2020 dimes carefully, because while only one has reached the legendary price of $18 million, the possibility of other unique errors always exists. And with billions of coins struck, even a 1 in a billion mistake means a handful could be out there, and if found, they too could become priceless rarities. So the lesson here is simple. Never underestimate the power of looking closely at the coins you handle every day, because that next little dime could be hiding a fortune. And with that thought in mind, we celebrate the story of the 2020 D dime as not just a record-breaking coin, but as a symbol of the adventure that coin collecting offers, where history, rarity, chance, and value all come together to turn pocket change into treasures worth millions. And that is the incredible journey of how a 10-cent piece became an $18 million legend.